Visitors.
One stadium in that we played in high school, Lakewood High School, and that was only really the only chance I ever had to play on AstroTurf. But when you came in the league, you had all fields. It was AstroTurf. It was
baseball
regular fields, and then it was baseball fields.
Yeah.
Like you were playing on the infield, you were playing on Astro. Like that's such a crazy dynamic.
We complain about field turf now. And it's like, man, guys were playing on carpet and running on a mound. They were running to second base out there.
I'm gonna tell you one of my craziest moments. Of course, I don't think I've ever won in Philly. But
really?
they used to have a wall in the visitors' locker room. Did you ever hear about that wall?
I don't think I've heard about this.
All the former players, and I don't even know how far it goes back. I know it's back in the 70s. I mean, you got from Walter Payton, Refrigerator Perry. You got all the guys. Well, anyways, when they come into the visitors' locker room at the old vet, we can sign this wall. And you can sign it whatever you would want. We're going to kick y'all's whatever, Randy Moss, whatever it is. So Walter Payton being, my favorite player growing up, I signed my name near his. I mean, I saw Jerry Rice's. I seen all these players that are in the visiting locker room. You can sign this wall. You can say what you want and then put your autograph on it. Then I said, well, what did they do with the wall when they built the new stadium? I don't know, but that was one of the craziest moments going into the vet.
Oh, we got to find that wall. There's no way they let that get out of there.
I can't believe this has got to be, this is in somebody's basement. And they're doing a good job keeping it secret.
Yes, they couldn't have demolished it with all the autographs and all the history. It was a brick. It was just a brick wall that was kind of like holding up the stadium. I'd say over 150 athletes on that wall.
That's crazy.
I can't believe they didn't incorporate it in the new stadium. They should, it should be enshrined. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, really.
All right, you mentioned playing with the Vikings.
Right.
You get drafted. First of all, what was draft day like? We ask everybody who got drafted, what was that process like?
My draft day was kind of crazy because of the expectations that I had that I was going to be a Cowboy. And
wow.
I
didn't know this. All right.
Now I told you about my background, about my mom being in church, a Christian, and my mom was, really into church. She really wasn't into sports. You know how you guys take that visit to a team and then they host you or whatnot, Dallas,
top 30.
Yeah, Dallas was a little different. They hosted a lot of players. They didn't host you, individually. So I come back home, thinking that I'm going to be a Cowboy. So I come back telling everybody in my hometown. I tell my mom, and then my mom is like, okay, son, if you say you're going to be a Cowboy, then you're going to be a Cowboy. So I remember on draft day sitting there, you got the ESPN camera there in the house that I was in. And I remember my mom sitting there with a Bible on her lap. And it was kind of crazy because I was like, okay, Mom, you here? I know you're over there praying, but it's kind of weird that my mom's here in this sport type of moment. And so when I tell her I'm going to be drafted and the 8th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Greg Ellis, and that was my, supposed to be selection. And so, like I said, I seen my mom's, energy and facial expression, and then I was feeling a certain type of way. So I just think that, I know there's more to this and we don't have time for it, but you guys, you two, the Kelce brothers, you guys don't understand as far as there's been a lot of blood as far as the family blood that goes through the National Football League. But I think it's being successful as a pair of brothers, man. I think that's really what I tip my hat and commend you guys for, because that's really hard to do. You got one brother over here having success. You got another brother. You guys are really competing against each other. But at the same time, you still have the love. So anyways, my brother played for the Minnesota Vikings before I was drafted. He went to Ohio State. He backed up Corey Stringer and Orlando Pace. And my brother called me first. He's like, hey, man, Coach Green wants to talk to you. And I was like, man, I'm not really into Randy, we're going to draft you. Okay, whatever. So because I was, like I said, man, I was already depleted from, not getting, the 8th overall pick. So when it came to the Vikings pick, they picked me up. And then all of a sudden, I get the call and I'm like, thanks, Coach. You won't regret this. All I want to do is just play football, man. It's been a bumpy 24-hour road for me. I was an emotional wreck. I was like, Coach, I just want to play football. That's all I want to do. So I go back that night, get ready to get on my plane, and I ended up breaking my ankle. So if you ever look at my rookie trading card, you'll look at me and Dennis Green on a practice field, and I have an air cast on my foot because on draft night, I had to get my mind away from not getting drafted. I went and played basketball and broke my ankle.
Broke the ankle?
And broke my ankle.
What?
So I, hobbled through an airport, went through Chicago O'Hare, hobbled. They seen me jumping. They went and got a wheelchair for me, took me to my gate, and then all of a sudden I went to Minnesota. They got me the gate, brought me to the coaches, and first thing they done to me was took me straight to the doctors and put the boot on me.
What did they say?
They couldn't say that. They knew my history. They knew my background. So, I mean, it's like, okay, things happen. So, like I said, man, it was like, it was a crazy moment. But like I said, just being able to get drafted, my brother called me and was like the Minnesota Vikings want you. So me being up there in Minnesota for my first couple years, man, I had my brother with me.
Man, that's so cool, man.
You got your revenge on the Cowboys.
Oh.
Talk about Thanksgiving. What was that game like? Did you know coming into it you were going to go off for that much?
No, I really didn't. I think that how you sit at home as a kid and you see all the athletes like score a touchdown, and all of a sudden the camera goes right to that athlete. And I know both of you guys have done it because I've seen it. How am I? Am I right?
Yes,
okay.
No doubt.
Every time you know it.
So my biggest thing was being on that stage, Thanksgiving Day. I just wanted to say, hi, Mom. That's all I wanted to do. So that game, we're in the cold tub because we just played on Sunday. Y'all guys know how important the cold tub is.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to get in the cold tub, but the veterans forced me in there, and I went up and having those 3 catches, that iconic game. But I think for me, just going up there, just being able to ignore the noise of seeing familiar faces, because I remember when I took that trip before the draft, I seen, some faces, as far as the recruiting and the scouts and things like that. So me going out there, just seeing some familiar faces, I had to be able to ignore that, but at the same time, put my focus on going out here and having a great game. But then out of all the things that I'll say this, with that game, with my mind being everywhere, my wide receiver coach, God rest his soul, Hubbard Alexander, and Chris Carter, Jake Reed, our wide receiver core 3 deep. We all stayed together that game. And it was my rookie year. I mean, I know my coming out party was the Green Bay Monday night, but that game against Dallas, guys, it was kind of like, it was so emotional. And it was kind of, we've all been in a zone before, where you think like every block I'm going to get and there's no ball that I'm going to drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
for
sure.
That game right there, I know it was just three balls thrown my way, but I was like, dude, I was in the zone that day and I was going to not let anything stop me.
3 balls for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a heck of a day, right?
I hang my hat on that one.
One of the producers is a Cowboy fan, grew up in Texas. He has this in there. I got to ask, and we know you're involved in Boulder. Do you still have that same game if Deion's playing?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Because the thing about it, quick crazy story. I got to tell you this, guys, and the guy the Cowboy fan, you're going to be sick at this story. Real quick. When I get to Dallas, I'm already sitting up here wondering about what is my day going to be like. Okay, so I come down to the lobby, and one of the security guys tells me, he said, "Hey, Randy, you're not going to come to dinner tonight. There's Mr. Jones sent the limousine to get you, and the limousine is going to take you over to Primetime's house." And I'm like, I've never met Deion Sanders. I'm like, oh my God, I'm crazy. So that night, crazy. I go to Deion Sanders' house. He tells me, the story of, "Hey man, I'd love to play with you. Jerry Jones wants you. He wants me to talk to you." So guys, there was no way that I was leaving Dallas that, in my mind, I was believing that I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. So
that is crazy.
What a pump fake, man.
Right?
For the pump fake. So back to what you were saying, it had nothing to do with if Deion was playing or not. One thing that I'll tell you, that Chris Carter was always up for the big games that we played, the big guys. Like we had Aeneas Williams, Hall of Fame brother out of Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Played him. We played James Hasty and Dale Carter, cornerbacks out of Kansas City. At the time, they were both Pro Bowlers. Mm-hmm. So being a veteran player, he always used to tell me about, hey, man, you got to be worried about this one. You got to worry about this one. I remember talking about Deion. And he was like, I don't know if he's going to play, but if he does, you got to watch out for this. You got to watch out for that. So I was just up to the moment of my rookie year, knowing it was Thanksgiving, everybody talking about me and Deion Sanders. And I was like, man, I can't not worry about Deion. That's how focused I really was, guys. I really was focused that game.
Was there a DB throughout your entire career that you kind of like give the tip of the cap to that he always made your job just that much harder?
Yeah. And I'm not ashamed to say his name. Darrelle Revis was a gnat. Yeah. He was just a gnat. I mean, and the thing about it, what was you going to ask me, Jason? What made him good? Yeah,
because it wasn't like he was like this crazy, like fat, like, I mean, he was, but what made him so good at corner?
I mean, without stating the obvious, guys study, they study techniques, they study, formation, things like that. But by him being not as fast as, a Champ Bailey or Deion Sanders, the man was athletic. Beyond, when I say athletic, if you study a guy like Darrelle Revis, go back to his highlights back when he played basketball in the state of Pennsylvania. Okay.
Ooh, okay. Do some homework.
Okay. So when I go back to do my study, and I already went back to his high school looking at his skill set, because I remember the release. I did a release his rookie year, and then the second year I came back. I tried to do the same release, and I'm like, oh, my God, he got it. So it was kind of more like he did his homework on me. Now it's time for me to do mine, which I thought I did. But I had to really go into my study mode with a guy like him because he was so good. And I just think that the way he knew how you stepped, how he knew body language, along with having a great defensive coordinator and a guy like Rex Ryan, and then later on, going to, Bill Belichick's defense. So like I said, Darrelle Revis was a gnat. He studied, but I think one of the things that he really did get credit for was how good of an athlete he was, just not as a cornerback, but the man was a hell of a guard too.
Heck yeah.
When I got to go up against him, he was so stout and strong.
He had great patience.
He never opened his hip. It was crazy.
Do you remember the time when they took you out of the 3-point stance and they let you get out here and line up at that wide receiver? Well, because the crazy thing about it was, Trav, it's kind of like we knew, as football fans, was like, hey, this man right here can play some football. So then all of a sudden, now they detach you from the tackle and let you get out there in the 2-point stance, and then you really get to see how shifty you were as a player. And now I went, Jason.
Yes, that was a perfect impersonation right there.
You don't look at the shoulders. You're going to get lost. Right. You're going to get lost in the shoulders.
Being able to go against certain guys like, a Charles Woodson, a Champ Bailey, a Darrelle Revis, a lot of that stuff was important. Because of if they do their study and learn how to be patient at the line, you'll definitely have success against most wide receivers in today's game and pass.
I love it. We usually ask, what is your welcome to the NFL moment? But you made the Pro Bowl your rookie year and we're second team all pro. It doesn't sound like you had a welcome to the NFL moment. That was like, I guess it was the Cowboys game. I guess it was the Green Bay or Cowboys game. Like there were positives. It wasn't. My welcome was like facing off against Ray Lewis for the first time. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm trying to block Ray Lewis.
Ooh.
Do you have any moments like that?
I think what was crazy for me, it was Monday night. It was Monday night in Lambeau. And I don't remember the result of the play, but I remember walking back to the huddle and I walked right past Reggie White. And just as
just could feel the aura,
dude.
It's the minister of defense right there.
And so I hope that guy doesn't get his hands on me. God damn.
No, because there's already a clip of him throwing Chris Carter out the way. He's trying to chip the edge, but I think. Imagine that throw, but I think that was a moment for me. I think that just not looking at the actually the stats and the yards, I just think being able to look and seeing that I'm on the same football field as Reggie White. And then there was another clip of me talking about my coaches telling me, hey man, sit down, man, come and rest your legs. I was like, no, that's Brett Favre. That's Brett Favre. So
we got to keep going.
So it's just crazy moments like that. I just remember Brett Favre being on the field, Barry Sanders being on the field, and then walking past Reggie White as a rookie. So it's kind of like the guys you grew up watching, and now you're on the field playing against them or with them. That's probably my surreal moment.
Oh yeah,
heck yeah.
I had one of those surreal moments when we played the Patriots for the first time. I saw Tom Brady in person, man. live in action in the super suit wearing the 12, man. How was it when you went to the Patriots? Was it a night and day like difference from anywhere you had ever been, or what was it like meeting Tom for the first time?
Dude, we can have fun on y'all's podcast all day, but check this out. So y'all know,
You're the best.
so Saturday night, before the game, we're in a hotel, we're the visitors, right?
Yep.
So, we're on 2 floors, and, you got the security on both floors and all this crazy stuff. So we're the Raiders. We play on Sunday. I fly back to Minnesota. So one of my former teammates is at the hotel getting ready for the Monday night. Well, guys, I drive down to their hotel, sneak in the hotel, and go up the exit stairs and get up on their floor. All right. I tell
Okay.
Jason, you're looking at me like, Randy, like, what is this, Randy? So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
they're probably 4 or 5 hours before they go to the stadium on Monday night. I sneak in their hotel, meet Brady for the first time, Trav. Meeting for the first time, and I said, look, dude, I'm going to cut straight to it. I said, dude, I want to play with you. Whatever you can do to get me up here, do it. So the next thing you know, I dapped him up, gave him some love, walked out. That night, I watched the game. Brady's first time ever in his career. He throws 5 touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm sitting up here thinking, ooh, I might have rubbed off on Brady a little bit.
Oh, no.
So being given the opportunity to get traded from Oakland to the Patriots, the number one thing that I wanted to do, Jason, Travis, offensive players, I wanted to know everything that Brady knew as far as, Jason, the checks, when I'm hot, when it's a sight, when you're changing the protections, giving me everything that Brady knew I wanted to know, because if it had something to do with me, I wanted to hit the ground running. Okay.
Man.
Sure. Yeah.
And
It's
so,
crazy.
and I had high expectations and end up getting a hamstring injury that forced me out of preseason. And so actually my first actual game going out here really doing it was week 1 against the Jets. And so, like I said, I was coming off a hamstring injury, but anyways, the rest is history about the 23 touchdowns and the record-breaking season. But like I said, I just wanted to know everything that Brady actually or possibly knew that could help my game out.
Not enough guys play this game through the eyes of the quarterback, man. It's crazy how much you can benefit off of understanding the whole grand scheme of things. And, I think even at a young age, man, I like playing quarterback, I felt like helped me out so much more because I understood the progressions. I understood, where that position's eyes were before every single snap. Man, that's awesome to hear, brother. That because it really did seem like you guys were in sync, especially if somebody was playing too low or a safety came down, or you already know it was up top all season that year.
I got to ask you, while we're on this quarterback receiver dynamic, quarterback receiver drama is like a tale as old as time. I remember playing freshman football. Trav hears me bring this up all the time. I'm wide open. I'm getting mad at, like, will you throw me the ball? Like, what is happening here? Why are you not so? I got it. When you're seeing quarterback receiver drama, are you always on the receiver side of things? Like, whose fault is it usually in your mind?
I think it's a 50-50. And and the reason why I say it's a 50-50 is because you take a guy like, I'm going to give you just a prime example of what we're looking at right now. You take a guy like Aaron Rodgers, okay?
Yeah.
And it's like Aaron Rodgers has some bad throws where he looks, where he might throw the ball to bad throw. And then, like, it's nothing. No body language, no emotion, okay? Then all of a sudden, the very next play or a couple plays, the receiver drops the ball. Now Aaron is all like,
yeah,
so,
he's pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed. So like I say, not singling Aaron out because, I mean, he's had a phenomenal career and doing some great things. But when you look at, to answer your question, Jason, I think it's just a 50-50 split because we have our times, Trav, where we're not in the right place or, we might have went too far that the quarterback wasn't expecting us to be. But at the same time, they could get rushed and try to get the ball out of their hands. But to that point, in the history of the game, Trav, you and Pat, as far as the anticipation of he knowing where you're going to be before you even turn your head or get out of your break, that should be studied. And
Seriously.
no, and I really mean that. And I'm not saying it just because you're sitting here on this podcast, because
I appreciate that, Randy.
you talk about the art and the science of sports, but at the same time that quarterbacks are really made when you want to say, hey, I want to see my wide receiver create separation and get open. No, Patrick knows what the route is, when you're going to stop, your body language, and like I say, that's one of the most beautiful things to see when it comes to quarterback receiver combination is that of what you guys created, man. I tip my hat to that.
Man, that means the most coming from you, big guy. And I'll tell you what, man, sometimes he surprises the shit out of me. I don't know, because I'll turn my head around and maybe break off my route different, or maybe even just run a completely different route than what's called.
Right.
Pat is just right on cue, right on the money every single time, man. He just knows. That's what happens when you golf together and you play drinking games together, man. You just you sit down and have a beer with the guy, you start to get in his head.
But let me ask you, just football talk. Like I told you, we could do this all day.
All day, baby.
Just our position. When it comes to the chemistry that you guys, between you and Patrick, that you guys created, how did y'all create that chemistry, bro? I mean, like, I know you're going to say practice. I know, no, it's not just practice. Like, what type of belief that, like, y'all's conversation, like, how did y'all make that? Talk to me, man. Tell me.
You already know. I think you already know. It's over. It's all the reps. It's all the reps. But at the same time, I think there is just a natural understanding of backyard football. Like Pat'll tell you from the get-go. I came into this thing with Alex Smith. He's more 7-step. That ball's coming out. You know what I mean? And you got to be there. Pat's kind of like, yeah, I'm around my 7-step, but I could airtime on it, do something with my feet. My 7-step might not be, I might stretch my drop this time. So his timing is more just feel out the game. And I kind of have that similar timing as well. And I remember I went up to Pat one time and was like, all right, man, if they go this coverage, I'm going to run it like this. I'm going to run it like that. Hey, what do you think if I give him a nod here and take an extra like tick to get out of my break? He was just like, nah, man, just get open. Just get open. I'll throw it when you get open. That's crazy. He's just like, bro, the guy he's trusting me to get open. He said, I don't care how you run this route. Right.
In the latest episode of the popular New Heights podcast, football star Travis Kelce surprised fans by sharing details about a special birthday gift he prepared for Scott Swift, who was celebrating his 75th birthday. The story was told in Travis's familiar humorous tone, but behind it was a sincere and deeply respectful reflection on his relationship with the family of his fiancée, pop superstar Taylor Swift. The moment quickly became one of the most talked about topics on social media. Fans were not only curious about the gift itself but were also touched by the way Travis spoke about the Swift family as an important part of his life. The story began with a simple question during the podcast conversation. Travis's older brother, former Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce, opened the discussion with an unexpected remark. He asked Travis if he was going to Scott Swift's big birthday party that weekend. Travis nodded with a familiar smile and confirmed that he would be there. He added that turning 75 was a major milestone and that Scott deserved a truly memorable celebration. Jason quickly followed up with another question, asking whether Travis had already prepared a gift. He joked that Travis didn't seem like the type of person who would just show up with a simple bottle of wine and say, "Happy birthday." The comment made Travis burst into laughter. He replied that he had already chosen the gift, though he joked that he hoped Scott hadn't listened to the podcast before the party. The brothers laughed together as Travis began hinting at the surprise. Before revealing the gift, Travis took a moment to talk about his relationship with Scott Swift. He spoke about Taylor's father with great respect, describing him as both funny and incredibly smart. According to Travis, Scott is the kind of person you can talk to about almost anything, from football and education to music, business, and family stories. He explained that from the very first time they met, Scott made him feel comfortable. Instead of interrogating him the way some fathers might question their daughter's boyfriend, Scott welcomed him warmly. Travis shared that Scott asked him about football, his career with the Kansas City Chiefs, and even told him stories about Taylor's childhood. Jason quickly jumped in with curiosity, asking if those stories were embarrassing ones. Travis laughed again and said he would keep that part a secret, though he admitted that Scott is incredibly proud of his daughter. When it came to choosing the birthday gift, Travis explained that he put a lot of thought into it. He said that when someone reaches 75, They usually already have everything they need, so he didn't want to give something ordinary. The idea for the gift actually came from a conversation he had with Taylor during an evening in New York City. While talking about her father's birthday, Taylor mentioned that what Scott values most is family time and meaningful celebrations. That comment inspired Travis to choose something with strong sentimental value. When he finally revealed the gift idea on the podcast, Jason Kelce's reaction showed genuine surprise and delight, making the moment even more memorable for listeners.